So let's do one that is a little less fun, maybe. So years ago, bi activism, if you will, was an occasional thing, right? It was kind of something that would happen when somebody would say gay and lesbian and transgender people are awesome and bisexuals don't exist, right? All of a sudden there would be a bunch of activism around the fact that someone has said we don't exist, we've got to get together, show them we exist. Here we are, look at us, there's a whole bunch. Um, and so it was kind of consistent that moments of bisexual erasure of people not talking about bi people, pan folks, fluid people, or moments of open hostility towards bi people would occur, and somebody say, "Oh God, I hate them. I want to get rid of them. Why are they even in the community? Everybody hates them, right?" Like that would happen, or somebody saying, "No, you don't have to date them. It makes sense. They could be carrying diseases or things like that. Things that would be really negative that didn't actually make a lot of sense in comparison to gay people or non-bi people who are straight. Like it was like we're really getting it from both ends here, right? And so there's been some really great work of people discussing how homophobia and biphobia can work to operate, especially in spaces that identify as progressive and liberal, to be really toxic and really terrible for people who identify as bi. That they are told explicitly, don't bring that up, don't bring any, straight person around. You can only bring around same-sex partners if you work here, or because we're all gay. So that type of exclusion is really common inside the bi community in ways that I'd say I dealt with a lot, right? Um, and one of the places that I saw it a whole bunch, um, and I've seen it consistently a whole bunch, is inside of remembrance of LGBT history, right? Or in moments where LGBT history is being made. Yeah. So a real decision will always be made that there are no bisexual speakers, there are no pansexual speakers speaking about their bisexuality or their pansexuality at any LGBT event. And this is still true today. You can go to pretty much any LGBT event and you will not hear bi pan people talk about their partners. You will not hear them talk about being parents. You will not hear them talk about things in a way that might indicate their orientation is not lesbian or gay. I've even seen like super big bi people go to the point of actually calling themselves lesbian, like on stage in speeches. Like, I'm a lesbian, and it's not that they're not lesbians, but when they're with us, they're always bisexual, right? So it's very like, wow, you just kind of switched. And so I really do think that that's something that's a part of this huge pressure that comes from dominant, ownership culture that is coming from gay and lesbian culture, and very much gay culture, because many times lesbians are not experiencing any type of benefit here, no type of ownership, no type of space that they're controlling that nobody else is getting into. And many times if they do have something like that, it's a short-lived thing. It's not there for a long time. Whereas many times gay men are controlling everything in the space and completely getting away with it, right? And so that's been my experience, especially when it comes to things like the March on Washington back in 2008. I was living in West Hollywood and kind of mixing it up with the boys and girls and people down there. And so I ran into a bartender who was like, I'm working on this march and we want it to be better and less racist. And I was like, I want that too. And so, like, I was super helping prep that march and get people and giving them names and doing a bunch of just free, like, I want to help you guys be diverse. No interest in going or being there or speaking or anything like that. Just, like, literally don't, just want it not to be all white, right? And then also was hearing, hey, you're not having any bi speakers. And it became really apparent that they would do like 5 black people but 0 bisexuals. And I was like, well, what about a black bisexual? But like, it's kind of like they're having to trade. We could never have a white bi person because, again, they don't exist or something. I'm like, what is going on? That this is so deep within this community that a national event commemorating history of these communities is enriched, with this. And so I was really kind of an eye-opening thing where I started to ask the question about like what I've been seeing in Los Angeles with, working, I was a co-founder of something called Ambi, and everybody who was in that first meeting, they said to us, you guys are all co-founders of Ambi, so I'm going to hold with that. And that was many years ago, like '05, right? So we're doing bi stuff out in Los Angeles, not really going places with it, right? Not seeing any pickup, not seeing anything pick up any place. And it really is a national issue, state to state, and then an international issue in a larger sense that, generally speaking, there is no representation of bi people within that larger LGBT events system or awards or pride, right? So that means no grand marshals every year for every single city. 50 big cities, 50 big states, not a single bi person or pan person. Meanwhile, the community represents 50+% of the community. So really what's going on is we have a very small group of people maintaining control, in my opinion, mostly with straight support, right? And being able to defeat that and get rid of that would mean, I think straight people do have to be more intentionally part of LGBT or, social organizing, but not as LGBT people, right? Like we need, oh, maybe I'll make it. I was like, we need a straight pride flag. That's what we need. I need something for them. I'm going to make it. It's going to be white. You just wait. I'm going to get it. I'm going to go check and make sure it doesn't exist already. But that's what we need. We need them to have like their identification. I think it's really important at this point because we're losing even more ground than we have in the past. And I'm seeing a lot more people who are bi and who are out and open with decreasing returns and support for those same bi people within society, within policy, within public health, within doctors. And again, nothing to do with the conservatives fighting us, trying to get rid of us. These are all policies y'all had made. So we need y'all to change them, right? That's what needs to happen and get people really excited about getting everybody to agree on like what's okay and what's something safe to say. If somebody says, I don't want to tell my kid about bisexuals. All right, cool. Could you tell them about bi plus people? Maybe, right? This person's bi. They have a mom. They've got a husband. This is the dad of this kid. And they also have a wife now. That's all you have to say. Like, we're not asking for a lot here. And I think that if we get, as conservative people, speak more explicitly about what we're looking for, which is to try to limit how much sexual engagement 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds are doing. Because we're really not there for that. We really want them to be kids. We really don't think that even gay kids and even little queer children are thinking about sex in the same fashion and the same capacity as adult people, right? So I think it's one of those things when it comes to LGBT history that's become distorted a great deal when there's consistently been a huge amount of discord, lack of harmony across the alphabet people, and then inside, to the point that maybe a lot of that hostility has now been turned on to straight people intentionally to try to deflect and reject those realities, right? And how much harm they've caused internally. Right, 50% of black men who are LGBT are going to be struggling with HIV. That's a huge number. That wasn't the case 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? Even when the advent of HIV, I'm not sure we're looking at the same numbers we're looking at now. So I think that's something we really want to talk about and ask questions about how much our increase in activity of intimacy has also led to lack of safety and lack of boundaries and lack of some health concerns that we, deal with it versus just letting every new thing hit us and hit us harder, right? It really makes no sense to me. So I'm excited about changing that.